Ting tong boom.
10-ton beats up in the building.
Welcome, people. Welcome back to Straight Out of 10 Tons, the Drum and Bass podcast, hosted by your boy, Project Lando. We've got a very special guest with us today. With season 2, we wanted to get people that you guys wanted to hear from, and we've got a very special guest with me today. Would you like to introduce yourself and tell the people what you do?
10-ton beats up in the building.
Hi, it's Elisa. I'm a singer, songwriter, producer, and I've recently been signed to Dread Recordings exclusively. So there's a lot of content.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. So, haven't really done much yet, to be fair, in terms of releases. But for the last year, I've been cooking away at the production. So 2021, I'm coming in with a bang.
I can see. Do you know what? I've been watching your progress. And part of the reason I wanted to ask you onto the podcast in the first place, because I like the way you've marketed yourself, and because like for me, 1 minute there was no Elisa, and next minute you're everywhere. Do you know what I mean? Like if you're into drum and bass and you're from Essex, and you know there's a little community, suddenly you were there. Do you know what I mean? So I really wanted to get you onto this podcast. So I'm glad we're doing it.
Thank you for asking me, to be fair.
Nice. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. So what I'd like to do is go back to the beginning, and just get where you first started to interact with drum and bass. Where did it start? Where did it start for you?
My love for drum and bass was born at the fun fairs, believe it or not.
Wow.
Going to the like the travelling fun fairs, and me and my mates were about 13 years old, and we'd go down the fair in down in Southend in Chalkwood Park, and they'd always have the drum and bass playing, booming out, and I just got this love for it, and it started then. I got into a little crowd who were like DJs and stuff like that. So
this is when you were 13, yeah?
Yeah, 13, 14 years old,
Okay.
something like that.
Yeah. All right.
So really young, and basically I started hanging out with a few guys that used to run pirate radios and stuff, and me being the girl, there was no girls doing it back then, you know, rap and people like that, Chemistry and Storm, but they were the only ones as far as I can remember.
Right.
So I used to go, I'm a bit of a tomboy when I was younger, so I used to hang around with these lads, and in the end I got so fed up, I was like, oh, show me how to mix.
Right.
So I did that, and apparently I was quite natural to it. I started on the old vinyl and that.
Yeah.
Now the reason why I probably come back with a bang.
Yeah.
I got married. I had 3 children in my marriage, and then I had a 4th child in my last relationship, and I was just a mum basically for years.
Yeah.
And years.
Yeah. I mean that is. I mean, I'd like to come back onto that a little bit later. I've got a few questions around that, but
Yeah.
I'm just kind of at this point, just kind of interested in like your first experiences with it. Were you kind of pirate radio? Were you just listening to tape packs, that kind of thing?
Well, I used to go to, I mean, I've got about 16 years old. That's when I started going to all the big raves. Probably was underage. In fact, I most likely was. But
Definitely.
we used to get on the old coaches up to Milton Keynes and Stevenage and go to all the raves. I used to go to Labyrinths in Dalston and One Nation and them sort of things. So I started going raving.
Yeah.
And then I also started working in my friend's dad's music studio at the age of 17. And he was like a radio producer, so he used to do jingles for radio and adverts and stuff.
Yeah.
But we started mucking about, and that's how I got into producing. But I've always been musical. I've played instruments, I've been in orchestra, and I've always been very musical. So anyway, there was one stage where I had some involvement with Urban Takeover, Mickey Finn and Aphrodite's label. I think I was about 17 at the time.
Big up the legends, Mickey Finn and Aphrodite.
Yeah. Funnily enough, just divert a little bit, when I did a warm-up set for Aphrodite, I said, oh, do you remember when you had a red Toyota, a Corolla? I think it was like 97, and he was like, I've still got that car.
Jeez.
And
Lovely guy, actually, Aphrodite. Really nice guy, man.
Yeah, but to me, being a 17-year-old, that was like a really flash sports car back then. And I just remember it. And funny, 20 odd years later, he said he's still got the car in his garage. So anyway, but yes, so I started writing some music. But because I was under 18, and I was doing my GCSEs, it just fizzled out.
Yeah.
I stopped hanging around with the guy. I had no access to music. So yeah. And
Right.
then
So basically, at 13, you kind of found out about drum and bass, had a few drum and bass mates and stuff, and then you went from that into going raving at 16, which we can't advise people to do, but it happens.
No,
And
the rules
then
weren't so strict back then.
and then from there, you say you went to college, and then it started to fizzle out a little bit.
Yeah, I just was. I was just doing my education. So and my family were quite strict on education. So they weren't so supportive as like my mum is now.
Yeah.
But I did like as a hobby. Obviously, I was still doing the DJing. That's more on the production side of things. But with the DJing, I did all the local pirate radio stations. I mean, me and my brother set up our own little pirate station above his flat in Leon Sea. We still laugh about that now, but I can't remember what it was called now. Oh, but anyway, a long time ago. But I used to do the circuit with like Decoy and that back in the day. So that's how I'm good friends with.
Because you're based in Southend, right?
Yeah, so we go quite a long way.
Southend has got people like Decoy come from Southend, obviously yourself. My mate Showdown, he's from Southend as well. So there's a little bit of a drum and bass community there, surely.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, obviously things have, it's like this for everywhere at the minute because of COVID. But the drum and bass community, I mean, it's rife in Southend. There's a real little following. I mean, there were so many independent little nights and things like that. And that's how 2 years ago when I came back into music, I don't know, I just felt like music was always something I should follow. I did a degree and I sort of finished that and I was like, oh, what do I do now? But while I was studying, I was getting back.
Was your degree in music or was that in something else?
It was in health and social care.
It's come in handy, isn't it?
Psychology and things like that though. So that's why I went down that route.
Okay.
But I started just streaming from a home platform, but this was before. Now it's really popular, isn't it? Because COVID, everybody's streaming from home.
Yeah.
But 2 years ago, it wasn't such a main thing. But that's how I got back into it. Literally, I just went on Facebook. I hit up a couple of old friends. My friend DJ Phaser, he's a DJ for Innovation.
Right.
I hit him up. I've known him for 20 years. He introduced me to the Southend drum and bass scene.
Yeah.
And I was DJing for like local events. There was like Spangled and drum rooms and fusion. So I started sort of networking a little bit. And I know it's really hard for people these days with the whole social media thing.
Yeah.
But that's how it just is these days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's either you get head round it or you get left behind.
I think a lot of the old school lot will sort of turn their nose up. Oh, I remember the days where you got a gig because you sent someone a tape of your mix. But it's just the times have changed.
It's just a more modern version we've got now.
Yeah, and you have to adapt to the current, situation when it comes to promoting and marketing, and it is all on social media. So I don't know how, but I seem to be quite good at just sort of promoting. I never miss an opportunity to, market myself or speak to people. I'm not embarrassed to speak to people, but I think there's a big thing in how you speak to people because, if you go in someone's inbox, just spam them, they're just going to be like, that's a bit, off. People don't like that. I always start, if I want to network with someone new, I will start with a conversation or a, what's it called? A tiebreaker or something. I can't think what the word is. An icebreaker. That's it. So, and a lot of the connections I've made just from me being myself, I'm being friendly, having a bit of a sense of humour. People tend to warm to having a bit of a laugh and a joke. And I think that's how people, I think a lot of it's not just about your music, but it's about you as a person. Because if you're not likable, people are not really interested as well. I think that's where a lot of people miss the dots. Anyone can have musical talent or, the skills in the production studio or on the decks. But if you're not a nice, polite, likable person, you just spam people's inboxes with no sort of like hi or introducing yourself. I tend to just be myself. I always try to have a little bit of a laugh and a joke with people. And it's
Bit
not
of
just
bands.
about, it's just being polite and actually, if you're not likable, as much, it's not just about the music. You've got to have obviously the music ability.
Yeah,
Musical.
I think if you're likable, it helps people want to help you.
Yeah.
But if you're a bit of a dick, you've got to be really, really talented to go through and still be a dick. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And there's plenty of them out there. There's plenty of dicks up there. Do you know what I mean? That aren't very nice, but they're really good. But I think the people who really have longevity are the people that are just cool with everyone, man.
10-ton beats up in the building.
The sad thing is as well is a lot of people become successful and their attitude changes as well.
Yeah, very true.
I see that quite a lot, and I just think there's no need for it. You can always reply to someone. Yeah, I know people are busy and everyone's got lives, but I just think there's no room for an ego, and there can be quite a lot of egos in music, but unfortunately it's quite a cutthroat business from what I've learned recently, being with the more bigger label and that, it's a lot tough. It's a lot tougher, 100%.
So, like, just going back quickly to like when you first came across it, and then it kind of fizzled out a bit. Do you think it fizzled out because there weren't any female artists for you to kind of draw inspiration from to kind of want to go and do that thing, or was it like for different reasons? Because we all need to see kind of ourselves doing what it is that we love. Like for me, when I saw I think it's Eric B and Rakim, when I saw Rakim on the decks behind Eric B rapping, a black guy like me who loves music, loves playing with music, that was it. That's what I wanted to do. So I wondered whether you didn't find inspiration, that's why you didn't go there at that point, or did you find inspiration from maybe female artists later on in life?
I'll be brutally honest with you, and I won't get too personal, but the main reason I came away from music was I was in I was basically in an abusive relationship, and I just stopped living my life how I should have lived it, really. And I did that for 13 years until I saw the light and actually got some balls and left that situation. But it was a long time. And I think that's why now I'm so determined, because when you're suppressed for such a long period of time, it's almost like you come back with your cape on and think, no, do you know what? I'm not going to live my life like that anymore. And like little light switches, and that was what done it for me. I mean, it's not easy doing what I do, single mum with 4 kids. I find it incredibly hard, but because I have a passion and a love for it, I make it happen. And if I didn't, if it was a bit half-hearted for the stress and the tiredness and how manic my life is with 4 children on my own, I just do it because I just love it. There's nothing more I want.
I think that's I mean, I recently had a chat with Damage Man and Conrad Subs as well, and we're all of a certain age. What I mean by that is, like, we're adults and we've got kids and families and all the rest of it, and that balance between family life and your professional life, your music life, is sometimes difficult to separate them. Sometimes it's difficult. It's difficult to keep them apart. It's a really, really kind of weird balance to make. But you seem to do it pretty well, because I follow you on social media. And what I like about following you is there will be days when you'll be like, I'm not doing any music today. I've got my babies, and that's me for the day. And there'll be other days where you're just like hammering it on it like a car bonnet, and you're just like, you know, putting your music out there, marketing yourself. And I think that's wicked. So, it's interesting to hear how you find that balance. Is it easy to do for you or not?
No, it's not. I don't really know how I do it because I get asked this question an awful lot. Oh, I don't know how you do it, but I think when you're in that situation, you just crack on. Like the thing is it's almost like just seizing any opportunity that I have time wise. I mean, I like to think, I'm quite house proud. I'll keep on top of the house, but sometimes I leave the house, I leave the washing up, and I'll spend 2 hours in the studio. Other days, I'll spend a whole day cleaning my house and not do any music. So it's like I can't do it all at once. I can't keep a spotless house 24/7. I can't constantly, do this, that, whatever. It's just like, right, what do I need to do today? What's the most important thing I need to do today? Got a deadline like I did this weekend, then I'll fit it around whatever I'm doing, and I'm not going to lie to you that I've been in tears.
No, I can appreciate that still. I totally get it.
So it's hard, but I'm one of these people who, I don't know, I always want a break, but then when I've got nothing to do, I want to do something.
You sound exactly like me, like kind of always like, I'm so busy, I've got so much to do, I never have time to do nothing. And then when you've got nothing to do, you're like, I need to do something.
That's exactly it. I mean, there's been a few 3 a.m. jobbies in the studio when my kids are asleep because I wanted to do something in the day and I haven't been able to.
Yeah.
And staying up till 3, 4 a.m, but knowing I've still got to get up at 7, sometimes I've just done it.
Yeah.
I've had writer's block as well. I mean, I've had to write quite a lot of music in a short space of time recently. And I just got myself in a little routine with it. So, but I'll tell you, you might want to ask me about that in a bit.
10-ton beats up in the building.
You were talking about just a minute ago about writing music, and another thing that I've noticed about you as an artist is there's a lot of musical structure in your tracks. They sound well put together. There's a lot of music theory in there as well. Could you tell the listeners, like, where did you learn all your music skills? Because let's be honest, like in D&B, a lot of people just get in the studio because they love it and they know what they want to hear. But some people have actually got music knowledge that they've learned. So what is it that you've learned? When did you learn it?
So from about the age of 8, my sister was classically trained on the piano, and I used to listen to my sister play the piano.
Yeah.
And I used to just copy her, but I've got this ear for it. My mum said it from little. She said I'd like a little gift. Like I could listen to something and recreate it on either a guitar or a piano or a recorder. Or I did have classical training for the violin and the clarinet, which I played in an orchestra for a few years.
Wicked.
I never thought I could sing until 3 years ago. I always thought I was a really terrible singer, and I'm still lacking confidence in that area. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I hear other singers and I constantly criticize myself. I think, oh, they're amazing. I don't sound like that. But then everyone seems to tell me otherwise. But the singing, I mean, I was encouraged to start singing 3 years ago by another producer who said, can you write something over this track? Because I did, when I was younger, I used to write songs on the piano.
Yeah.
So never really sort of thinking I was a singer, but I used to enjoy the writing element of it.
Yeah.
I do have a lot of musical experience. I'm not going to lie. And I think that musicality that people have is you've either got it or you haven't.
Yeah.
It's something you can't teach someone. Like some people are really good at art and some people are really good at sports. It's just something I'm particularly sort of good at.
Yeah.
With the whole production side of it, I think what's different what people say to me is different is that I'm doing it all myself. So where you might have a producer producing a track, they'll then get a vocalist on it, they'll then get an engineer to engineer the vocals, and then you'll have someone else mix it down, and then you'll have someone else master it. I'm not, obviously I can do digital master on my tunes, but I actually get the company I work for, Compound Audio, my colleague Daps, he analog masters all my music. But what I do is I mix all my own tunes down, I produce them. I don't sing on all my tracks. Everyone seems to think I do, but I don't. But I sing on, I don't know, maybe 60-70% of my own tunes. And I'm mixing it, I'm producing it, and I'm writing it, and I'm singing it, I'm writing the lyrics as well. And maybe that's why, I don't know, like I've sort of stood out to certain people, because there's not many people that can do all of that. And I didn't set out to do all of that. I just do it.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like when I was kind of, when we decided we were going to do this today, because we've tried to do this podcast a couple of times, it hasn't really come off. We've both had issues, but we're here now. But what I wanted to say to you was, when I was researching and trying to think of questions, I tried to think of other singer-songwriters in drum and bass. I couldn't think of any, because most singers, they just sing. And like you say, producers just produce. There's not many that do the two, which makes you pretty unique, and that is probably the reason why Ray Keith snapped you up. Would you say that there's more room for artists like you? Would you encourage more singer-songwriters in drum and bass?
100%, but I think you're 100% right. I personally don't really know anyone. I think Degs does his own vocals, and he produces. Degs on Hospital, he does that.
Yeah, and like your mate Velocity.
Yeah,
he's an MC who had recently put out his track Solo Leveling, which is out right now on Spotify.
And he produces them as well, and he writes the lyrics and he sings on his tracks. He's on a similar vibe. I think BC sings on his own tracks.
Yeah, but I still find you
females. Not many females.
No, not many females at all. And I think we need more girls sitting at the top of the tree. Which is why, I talked to you about possibly putting something out on the 10 Ton 100 album, and obviously getting you involved on this podcast as well. We need to kind of push for ladies to come through, right?
10 Ton beats up in the building.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a real sort of promoter for female producers. I mean, without sounding bad, I mean, there's 1,000,001 female DJs out there, and I'm not knocking anyone. I think it's great to see. And if I'm honest, it's amazing nowadays that a female DJ and a male DJ, I don't think there's any divide anymore. And that's only happened recently. But there is with producing, 100%. It's still very niche.
Yeah.
And as women, we still get that criticism. Oh, she can't possibly have done that.
Yeah.
She can't mix that down. She can't make that tune. I still get comments now that people were doubting that I'm actually producing what I'm doing.
What, they thought a ghostwriter or something?
Yeah, like that. I get it all the time, and I've seen other female producers get the stick as well. And I don't know where this mentality comes from. I don't know, but I mean, any young I don't say young, because I'm getting on a bit now. I'm 40. But it's never too late. Never too late. But what I'm saying is I've spotted a few girls who are younger than me and have got into the producing, and I'm literally, and that is quite sweet, because they've messaged me and said, "Can you listen to my tracks? Can you tell me what the mix is like?" and blah blah blah. And I'm always honest, but I'll give constructive. I'll always go with the positives first, and then what needs a little bit of work. But 100% for support anyone, male, female, whatever. Really, it's not about that. But I would like to see more women. I've recently just put out for an all-female producer mix that I'm going to do.
Wicked.
So I've got some really big artists involved with that. So I've got Sophie Mari, Mandy Kay, who is Miss Leds. Sorry, I had to think about that. And Pisces, sorry, and Colette Warren and Karen Iris from Quadrant Iris, who does Hospital Records. They've all sent me their tunes, so I'm going to put out. Sorry for getting people's names wrong. I'll get my kids' names wrong, so don't. Yeah, so I'm going to do. That's one thing I want to do is showcase all the female producers in an hour's mix.
Yeah, I think that's
every tune in that mix is going to be from a female producer. I'll put some of my own in there as well. And then I'm aiming to put that out on New Year's Day.
wicked.
As a little start for 2021. So I'm going to.
People can look that. Where will that be available from?
I'll just post that. It'll be on my. I'll put it up on Mixcloud and SoundCloud, and then I'll put a link up on my socials: Facebook, Instagram. So yeah, everyone needs to look out for that because
just so you know, listeners. I will put all of Elisa's social media and all the links that she's talking about in the show notes, so you can kind of go and browse that until your heart's content.
Yeah, wonderful. I welcome you with open arms. But, yeah, no, it's cool. I've loved every minute of this musical journey. I still can't believe how far I've come. And anyone who knows me will say, "Oh, Caroline, you're so like." People meet me for the first time. They're like, "You're so friendly and down to earth." I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm just a mum who's doing music. I'm not anything. I'm still working towards, what is in the pipeline, and there's, I just love music really. So
do you know what? It's kind of similar because I always say, like, when I'm at work and stuff, because people kind of assume because you're in music you shouldn't have a 9 to 5, or you shouldn't be doing this, or you shouldn't be doing that. You should be rich living in a mansion somewhere. And I always say, look, it's like a hobby. Like, people sometimes buy a season ticket, go to see their football, like every weekend they'll travel to go and see it and all that. And it's exactly the same. I'm just a normal person like you as well, but my hobby is music. That's it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
10-ton beats up in the building.
I wanted to also ask you about, because we were just talking about girls in D&B and all the rest of it. Part of the reason why I wanted to do this podcast with you as well is I wanted to see what it was like from a female perspective, trying to get into a very male-dominated industry. I'll be brutally honest with you. You're a good-looking woman. I think you market yourself from that angle sometimes. I mean, is that something you would encourage any artist to do, to just kind of use whatever you've got to get people's attention to look at what you're doing?
Yes and no, because I think I'm a strong believer in being an independent woman, and you should be able to express yourself whatever way. But I am a bit of a no on. I mean, yeah, I might put the odd selfie up and things like that. Maybe if I'm going out for a night out or things like that. Most girls do it, and girls can relate to that. But on the other side of it, if you ever see me do a live stream, I'll be there I won't be all dolled up. I'll have normal.
That's true. Yeah,
I'll have my hair tied up. I'll have. I'm always covered up on a live stream. Don't do it intentionally, but I want it to be about the music when I'm DJing.
Yeah, I just kind of, because there was that video that everyone went mad about, 2 girls in bikinis, I think, doing a back-to-back. For me, I thought it was like middle of summer, stupidly hot. I didn't feel there was anything wrong with it, but a lot of people thought there was. I wondered how you felt about it from your perspective.
I was a little bit on the fence about it, to be fair. Agreed, it was hot. I think it wasn't the fact. Do you know what it was? It wasn't the fact that they were wearing bikinis. If they were just standing there DJing and wearing bikinis, fine.
Yeah.
But they weren't. They were sort of dancing all up, rubbing up against each other, and that's what I think people found uncomfortable with the clothes that they were wearing. Now, if they'd just been standing there with a fan on in a bikini DJing, but they were really like booty shaking, and I personally, I'm live and let live. Okay, I don't have any qualms against people expressing themselves however they want to. I'm a strong believer in. I'm not about pushing negative energy or anything like that. If people want to do that, let them crack on. Doesn't affect me.
Yeah.
But I do think that is why people took to that badly, more than them actually wearing bikinis. I think it's the way they presented themselves.
So it wasn't about what they, for you, it wasn't about what they wore. It was more about how they interacted with each other.
That's my opinion on why I think people kicked off about it. Me personally, it doesn't bother me, like I said, but I think that was more the subliminal message that they gave off, and why people were like, So yeah, it didn't really sort of, bother me. It was good. It was a good set, to be fair.
The mixing was tight. I'm not gonna lie.
10-ton beats up in the building.
When you're interacting with other artists, male artists, are you conscious of that kind of male and female thing? Is it a kind of, don't call me darling, that kind of thing? Or you just kind of, I would assume that you're kind of, you know what banter is, and you know when somebody's taking the piss.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But I do think sometimes people can get a little bit too caught up in, how people are addressing each other. I just wondered how you felt about it.
I mean, I spend a lot of time with men. A lot of my friends are men. I get on really well with women as well. I'm not one of these women. I don't get on with women. I get on with everyone. But I do spend a lot of time with men, because obviously being in the drum and bass scene. Now, if anyone who knows me knows I'm probably quite I like the bands. So I can take a joke. I think
that's what it is. It's about whether you can take a joke. I think some people don't take it very well.
I do think there's a time and a place. I mean, I've had certain things said to me that were really inappropriate, that if I'd known that person and it had been a mate, I would have gone along with it and laughed it off. But when it's someone that you don't really know, and they're saying something really inappropriate, I mean, I won't go into it, but a certain outfit I wore at an event, but it was, we all said we were getting glammed up, and there was a comment made about my outfit and the what I was wearing, and it was quite inappropriate. So these sort of things, do you know what? It's more about in the right context.
Yeah. I think it's a little bit like everything. I kind of compare it a little bit to racism. It's like, when you're having a bit of a laugh and a joke with people that you know pretty well, it's all good. It's all about how it's said and who's saying it. And that kind of, in your head, that deciphers how you receive it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you've got to really know them to have that sort of joke or
that kind of relationship. Totally get it.
10-ton beats up in the building.
Okay, so we'll move off that now, and I just wanted to find out from you, like, as you said, you kind of you were into drum and bass, fizzled out, kind of went away, got married, split up with your partner, and then got back into drum and bass. And from what I can see, looking in, you've achieved a lot in a short amount of time. What would you say are some of your biggest achievements to date?
Oh, it's been a mad little journey.
Yeah.
I'm a strong believer in the energy you put out. Now, if you want something bad enough and you work hard enough, I don't want to get too spiritual, but I do believe that the universe will give you back what you put out.
Totally with you on that.
You can do it, and you aim to work hard, and you don't give up. A lot of people just give up. Or if you have that mindset, I think anything is within your power, and I've always had that mindset, so it's the only thing I go by. That there are some people who will sit there and say, and they become amazing musicians or DJs or producers or whatever, but because they don't have that mindset, or they can't take criticism, or because they expect it to all fall into their lap,
Yeah.
A lot of people give up. And, I've been trying to do this for 20 years and no one listens to my music. But then you've got to address, well, how are you putting your music out there? How are you talking to people? How are you approaching them? There must be some reason why, if your music's good enough, why you're not getting that open door.
Yeah.
There must be. So with me personally, I just never miss an opportunity to put my music out. And I've been knocked back loads of times. I've had people tell me that my music's not playable in clubs, that this is wrong with it, that's wrong with it, my singing's not good enough. Oh my God, it's endless.
And I think that's the thing that a lot of people. It's just, it's just. I think it's that we go through the same thing as, like, actors or anyone who performs or wants to perform. You have to be able to take the knockbacks, right? Because you're going to get a lot, and if you think you're going to get whatever it is you want on your first audition or your first mix you send out, you're in the wrong industry, because it just doesn't work like that.
And do you know what's mad, is it hasn't even started for me yet. All this work I've been doing behind the scenes. I mean, I'm putting little snippets out of what's coming.
Yeah.
But the conversations I've had with my label is like, they keep telling me, you don't know what's coming, Caroline. Like, you really don't know what's coming for you. And I'm like, but I'm not in it for that. I'm not in it for being, mainstream headline. I'm not bothered about that.
Yeah.
All I'm bothered about is making nice music and people enjoying it.
I love that.
So, whatever happens, happens. But, they keep saying to me, like, oh, you're going to blow up. But it's almost like they think that that's the main thing. It's not for me.
Yeah.
I'm really not interested in that. Yeah, to be making money from music is great. I've got my job with my little mastering engineering company, which keeps me afloat. I love that. Yeah, it's all going to happen next year, so I'm told. Because I'm still like, to be fair, I'm still virtually unknown by a lot of people, and that's fine with me. But do you know what's nice is I've got a little following because Ray keeps playing my tunes on his show every Thursday on Origin, because he's obviously promoting my EP coming out. And just from that, I've got like a little Ray Keith following now. They call me Queen Dread.
The first lady of Dread Recordings,
I've got a little fan base, and a lot of them in America as well, which is quite cool.
When you signed to an American label at one point?
Yeah, no, I still have. Yeah, I've put some music out on a New York label, Deeper Vision. I'm going to put an EP out with them. My contract is going to go out with Dread Recordings in the new year, and I don't want to say too much, but yeah, I'm going to be working with them very closely. So I'm a little bit limited to what I'm going to be doing elsewhere. But I've had a single out over in New York, and they want me to do a 4-track EP as well. So lots of things coming for me over in America as well.
So sick. So sick.
Really
Come on, Carol. Come on.
Really hush about it. So
love that man.
10-ton beats up in the building.
If people haven't heard of you, you specialize in kind of liquid drum and bass, a little bit more chilled, a little bit more musical. And Dread, although Dread puts out a lot of music, right across the full 360 of drum and bass, for me, Dread is more about kind of the harder edge. That's when I think of Ray Keith and I think of Dread Recordings, I'm thinking of Reese basses, I'm thinking of Amen. Yeah, exactly. Would you like to get into making that kind of drum and bass as well, or have you kind of found your subgenre and that's you're going to run with it?
So the thing I love about Ray Keith is that when I initially made contact with him, and I can tell you a little funny story about that, and this will make you laugh.
Yeah.
So I went to hospitality in a park, and I left a few drinks and that, a little bit, bubbly.
As you do.
And me and my friend are sitting outside this pub, deciding, are we going to get the tube home? We're going to stay and have a drink in this pub. And he says, oh, there's IC3 and Ray Keith over there.
Yeah.
And my friend sort of was friendly with IC3. So we went over, And I'm not going to lie, I got really starstruck. It's really deep, like, oh. But I had my bright pink hair, I had my festival outfit on, and I just went, oh, hi, I'm Elisa. I make tunes. Can I send you some?
It's a nice introduction. Well done.
Yeah, I know it's been going on about networking and stuff and being polite. But I think that I had this conversation with Ray the other day, and he said, do you know what? He goes, when you came up to me at hospitality, there was something about you and your aura that was just interested me, and the fact that you said you sing, and because I said I sing and I write songs, and he's just, if you listen to his shows, he'll always say to people, send me your music, send me music. He's all for supporting up and coming new talent. He loves it. And so I sent him my music. He gave me his email address, put it in my phone, that was it. And sent him my music, and about a month later he listened to them, came back, and he sent me a message and said, no, you know, I really think you've got something, but you need to do this, and this, because this is, you know, needs a lot of work.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. So I went away, I made something else, listened to what he told me, sent him that about another month later. Then he came back to me and said, oh, you've really listened to me, haven't you? And I went, well, yeah. He goes, because I was quite critical.
You're Ray Keith. Of course I listen to you.
Yeah. You'd be surprised how many people take criticism the wrong way. Honestly.
Yeah.
Some people don't like to be told that it's not right or it's this and that. And I think that's why it stood out, because he might criticize, not criticize, but give constructive criticism, and people will just never come back.
Because do you know what I think? Do you know what I think that is? Like, you know what producers are like, artists are like. If sometimes somebody, if you've worked your ass off on something and you give it to someone and they don't like it, it's a hard pill to swallow. When you're in your studio thinking, this is fucking sick, he's gonna love that, and then you send it and he don't, and you're just like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So then he rang me on Messenger. We had a conversation, asked me about, you know, what it is I want to achieve, and you know, the thing that stood out to him was my musicality, like what you said. He said it's just something different. I wasn't making at the time generic drum and bass. It's probably almost borderline commercial. Some stuff you might hear on commercial radio. And the thing I find with my music is people don't necessarily think they like drum and bass. When I play them my music, oh, I like this, and I love that. Sorry, I diverted a little bit, but so with Ray Keith, he just took me under his wing. He said, look, just keep sending me music. So I kept sending music, and it just went from there. And then one day I sent him a tune, and he just went, boom, you've nailed it. And then it didn't, the whole putting an EP out and all of this sort of stuff didn't happen till sort of late this summer, because I sent him one track, and his words, not mine. He goes, Caroline, that's blown my mind. That song is off the hook. Like, where has that come from? He was like, boom. He goes, this is what I've been waiting for. So I sent him that track, which was a track called The End. And then they just kept coming. I just got in this mad flow of writing these tunes.
Was that the track that you put up, and it was going to be a free download, and then you were like, hang on a minute, I can't put it out as a free download. I can't tell you why, but I can't do it anymore. I remember that, you know.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
I remember that.
And then after that, he said, right, 6 to 8 tracks.
Yeah.
Best 6 we'll put on an EP. I've got one more track to write. I've got 5. I've got the green flag. I've got one more to write, but that EP is pending, obviously, other releases on Dread between February and June next year. But like you said with the liquid, when my EP comes out, you'll see my stuff on my EP is very liquidy, but it's got a bit of a dark, sort of moody edge to it. I've also got a borderline jump up track on there.
Oh gosh.
Well, it's not really jump up. I don't know what it is. It's an Elisa.
Is it jump up for you, kind of, because it's far away from what you normally do?
I can't categorise it, I'm afraid. It's just a crazy Elisa tune. And yeah, I've got 2 proper liquid tracks on there, 2 dark ones, and I've got a 6th one that I'm working on at the minute. So yeah, I'm so excited. Because I've had Brocky, Ray Keith all playing my tunes at the minute. They're the only people that are playing my tunes out. Quite exclusive. But yeah, I've had a lot of interest. Well, what is that tune? What is that tune? When can I buy that tune? So I think, Ray knows what he's doing. He's putting little tasters out there, and people are like waiting now.
That's the you got to, without trying to make supporters or fans sound like, I don't know, birds or something. You have to give them the little seeds, and then they start to follow. Do you know what I mean?
It's crazy, really, because I've learnt so much from Ray. I mean, he's very strict with me, and he says it on his shows. So, there's no harm me saying this. He says it on his shows. I've been so tough on that girl. He's a little bit crazy, and I'm really calm. But and it's been tough. I've had to really. I'm very much a free spirit. I'm very loud. I'm very bubbly. I'm not very disciplined. I've had to learn a lot. As much as you say I promote myself well on social media, I've had to learn a lot about how I present myself on social media, because it's been a learning curve. And like you said, with the selfies and things like that, you have to put out a certain image. As much as there's no harm in expressing yourself, again, like it's not really about how you look, it's about your music. So
I think the thing is people won't listen to music blindly. You could give them a track and they'll like it, but they will always want to know what the person looks like, or to have some imagery go with it. Sometimes it's not the person. Some people will, there'll be a cartoon character or something. Do you know what I mean?
The problem you get, though, is if you portray yourself in a certain wrong light, you're not going to be taken as seriously, I don't think.
I totally get that. I think
Because they'll be like, is that how she's getting her music heard? Oh, because she's wearing a low-cut top or this or that. And that's not the right way to go about things, and I try not to do that. So, yeah, I think
that's also important for artists that are coming up, young girls coming up, trying to get their music heard. Elisa has just told you that you don't need to get all your bits out in order for people to listen to your music. Your music can speak for itself, and be careful about how you promote yourself on social media. Give yourself some boundaries, maybe. Is that kind of where you're going?
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I said, I think the odd selfie. I love a selfie.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, totally.
And I think the thing is, where I've been in abusive relationships, I was suppressed for a long time. And I was always told that I was not, I was this and that. I won't use the words because they're a bit horrible. But, not very nice things were said to me. And when you come on the other side and you get that chance to express yourself, and I don't think there's any harm. And if people knew my story, then they might realise why. But I'll be honest with you, I get nothing but love from people on socials. I don't get any hate. I don't get any weirdos in my inbox sending me weird stuff. I'm pretty tame. So and especially women, all the women I meet when I go out, or not so much this year, but before, or I get messages in my inbox from other women saying, oh, you're just so lovely. The way you put yourself across, you're kind, you're a good mum, you're caring, you're funny. Like, I don't get any negative comments especially from other women, and I love that. And the one thing that I get said the most from a lot of women is that I inspire them. And I don't know how.
Yeah.
I love that. If I do, I mean, if I do, then that's a really wonderful thing, because I love the fact that there might be women out there that are in a horrible situation, or they've got young children, but they see me doing something with my music, and it gives them some little hope that they could do something with whatever they're passionate about.
Do you think the music helped you get out of that relationship? Was it something that you kind of found an escape in, or anything like that?
No, I just decided to do something for me, and I think deep down in my soul,
my soul,
getting deep now. Music's been a big part of my life since I was young.
Yeah.
And I'm only ever happy when I'm listening to or writing music. Or, I mean, I very rarely watch the television. I like the odd movie on Netflix, but anyone who comes to my house, I'm constantly in my music studio. And I'm not just listening to drum and bass. I listen to R&B. I listen to hip hop. I listen to house music. I listen to grime. Oh my God, listen to everything. I like 90s grunge. I love 80s music. I love the lot.
Nice.
And most people who socialise with me, the one thing I always do is the old love getting the old karaoke out. I'm famous for it from my friends. It's called Carol Karaoke. And oh, she's at it again.
Is that how you like? I mean, outside of drum and bass, and like, you know, you can't always go out to a rave. Is that something that you do to kind of go out and relax? Just go out and do a cheeky bit of karaoke at a pub?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I try not to saturate myself too much in drum and bass because one, if you're producing it, I don't really want to listen to what other people are doing because I want to just do my own thing. And my inspiration comes from a lot of other genres, to be fair.
Yeah.
And when I am at home doing my housework, I've got like Magic FM on with the old 80s ballads and that.
I can imagine you belting out some Celine Dion.
Oh yeah, I love it. Bit of Mariah, bit of Whitney. I love it. But you know, yeah. So I'm not what people think. You know, I'm quite mumsy, really.
Yeah.
I don't dress like very crazy.
I think that might be why you're inspiring a lot of women watching what you're doing, because you're not just all drum and bass, especially if you follow Elisa on her social media. Not just all drum and bass. You'll see you doing a variety of things, from walking your dog to being in the studio to singing your baby to sleep or whatever. Do you know what I mean? I think that's part of why you're doing really well, because there's so much that people can buy into. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of people that have got lives exactly the same. The only difference is you're a producer.
Yeah. It's mad that you've said that. I never looked at it like that, really.
Yeah,
it's
man.
funny, isn't it? Like how, you know, you're just doing your thing, but then this perspective you're giving off to people, and I don't even realise half the time.
Yeah.
The image and how I'm putting myself across. But like you said, it can't be bad because I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing.
People are buying into it, and that's what it's all about. I just wanted to jet back quickly to when you were talking about your music, and like when you play it to people, they don't necessarily hear it as drum and bass. They just say, "Oh, quite like that," because it's a little bit more chilled and a little bit more laid back. I know you had some tunes played on BBC Introducing, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, I've had 5 tracks over on BBC Introducing.
I mean, that probably is kind of weird, because I've had quite a lot of music played on there as well.
Yeah.
And I remember, I think you posted about you were having a track played, and I was thinking, oh, I've got a bit of drum and bass competition on Introducing, have I?
I love that. Do you know what? It's great though. It's not competition though, is it? Because there's not enough of it on the BBC. I don't think
there really isn't. I mean, you know, they played a lot of my music. They're not so. They don't seem to be playing so much anymore, which is fine.
No, I've noticed that. They're, I don't know what it is. Do you send it to BBC Essex?
Yeah. Ollie Winterberg.
Oh, yeah, that's it. He comes from a rocky background, and I think he does. My track Rise Up got track of the month, so he played it every week for a month, and then he got nominated for track of the year as well.
Yeah.
But I think he's quite particular with the drum and bass that he likes. I think different because obviously you've got the BBC Introducing in different areas all over the country, and I think it just depends who's
where you're from.
I see that there's certain tracks that are a lot more underground and a lot darker that are getting played on BBC, but I've sent similar stuff and they've not sort of taken to it. But I find this, I don't know what tracks you're sending, because I know you write your liquid as well, don't you?
Yeah, that's what first got me through the door, and
Yeah.
then I was sending all sorts. I sent some jungle tracks. I sent
Yeah.
some pretty dark tracks as well. But they just seemed to be into what I was doing at the moment. But I don't think it was Ollie. There was another guy that was working there. That he's the one that emailed me to say, really like your track. Would you mind just doing a radio edit? And I think he was the one that was pushing. Now he's left.
Yeah.
Nothing.
It is. It is a bit. You know, it's a bit. I'll be honest with you. I haven't sent them any stuff recently for a long time, because I think the last 5 tracks I sent, I just heard nothing. So I just thought, no, didn't take that as a knockback, but I just thought maybe, you know, I'm just concentrate on what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, I just think in these situations, you just keep going. It's another knockback, isn't it? Like any other.
Yeah. But I mean, the last track I did with Miss Melody, that went out on BBC Introducing down in Sussex, I think. So that went out.
She's from Brighton, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So we did a collaboration.
Yeah.
And that went out. That was the last one. So I think that wasn't that long ago. It was like September time that went out.
Wicked. Yeah. Wicked. Can I ask? I mean, we're coming to the end of the podcast now, so I just wanted to ask, what I was going to ask at the beginning was, where did you get your name Elisa from? Because your name's Carol. Do you know what I mean? So what?
Yeah. Well, my full name is Caroline Elizabeth. Okay. So my middle name, my dad's from Amsterdam, and in Holland and Germany, they spell Elizabeth with an S instead of a Z.
Right.
So my middle name is Caroline. My name is Caroline Elizabeth. That was what was given. Now, when I went up to Syndicate a few years ago, I didn't have a DJ name, and I had a set up there, and I didn't even think about DJ name. And they went, Callis up at Syndicate went, "What's your DJ name?" I went, "I don't have one." He went, "We got 10 minutes to find one because you're going on air." And I was like, and it just come to me. So my middle name, Elizabeth, if you cut that in half, is Elisa, Beth.
Yeah.
So I just went, Elisa. But then the dash in it, the E dash, Lisa, everyone kept calling me Eliza or Elisa. So what happened was I went on telepathy, and the guy who was streaming for, he by accident put dash in my name.
Right.
And then I looked at it and I thought, do you know what? And then he pronounced my name correctly, Elisa.
Yeah.
Or Elisa, he pronounced it correctly. I thought, do you know what? If I keep the dash in, people will say it right, but they don't. It didn't work. They still get it don't bother me. Do you know, I get called all sorts. I get called Carol, Kaz, Kaza, Elisa, Eliza.
Eliza, that's a new one.
Yeah. Oh, Skipper, he likes to call me Elisa.
Nice, Skipper. I've got one more question, and it's totally not related to drum and bass. If I could just see that you like my intricate note system. So right at the end of the podcast, I like to do like a would you rather question. Mm-hmm. So I'll just give you a would you rather question. Let's see what you'll do.
Go on then.
DJ Elisa, this is your would you rather question.
Oh, no, right. I'm a bit nervous now.
Right. Would you rather have skin that changes colour depending on your mood, or tattoos that depict everything you did yesterday?
Oh God! I'd rather have the skin change colour, because that wouldn't be any far off from normal, because people could read me like a book. I can't hide my emotions. People know if I'm in a mood or if I'm happy or I'm sad. It's written all over your face, so there's no difference. I wouldn't want tattoos, no. That I did yesterday.
Could be doing anything. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. That's brilliant.
Right, the final question for you is, what have you got planned for the future? Where can people catch you? Where can they find your music? what can people look out for from DJ Lisa in 2021 and onwards?
Well, I'm exclusively on Dread for the foreseeable, so I won't be working with any other labels. So anything that comes out from me will be going on Dread Recordings. My EP, System of Failure EP, is due out between winter and summer, maybe February, June.
That's a wicked name. I love the name of that EP.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
sick.
Ray
Yes.
Keith come up with that one. It's a sample in one of my tunes. It says "System of Failure," so that was his genius. So that's coming out. That's my debut EP. I will be working on a second EP due out end of next year, and I will also be co-producing an album with Ray Keith. I have a big announcement. Everybody, I don't know when this is going out, but this Thursday, I have a big, which I can't say anything, a big track being played. My biggest collaboration today is coming out on Ray Keith's show. So if you want to hear that, log into Ray Keith Official's page on this Thursday at 12, because he'll be playing an exclusive collaboration of mine.
All your links, all your social media, the links to Ray Keith's label, to his Origin show, all of that stuff will be in the show notes, so you guys can, go and hassle Elisa and follow what she does. It's always really interesting to hear how people get into drum and bass from all different points of view, and it was really interesting to hear it from a female perspective, as well as someone who has had quite a tough time. Between kind of school and you got married and you didn't have a great relationship, but you've come out the other end and you're, living your dreams. And I think that's applaudable. And I wish you every success for the future.
Thank you. Honestly, I've loved this podcast. It's been brilliant. So thank you for asking me. I feel very privileged.
And what I'd like to do is maybe catch up with you again, maybe in the spring, summer, and see what you're up to then.
Lots going to change between now and within a year.
Yeah,
a lot's going to change. So
it'd be nice if we see how your career's progressing. I'm really interested to do that.
I'm loving. I've already had an interview, and obviously doing a podcast with you. I've also got another podcast I'm doing with a female producer. But do you know what I love is that we're having this conversation before it's even happened for me. So yeah, it'd be really interesting to see what's gone on, because I have no clue what's going to happen. But I'm just
I think you're headed for good things. Let's put it that way.
10-ton beats up in the building.
So massive shouts out to Elisa for sitting down and having a chat to me. Big up yourself. I'd just like to let people know that right now on 10 Tons UK, you've got the 10 Ton 100 album that's doing pretty well out there. And we've also got your mate Velocity's Solo Leveling that is doing some serious numbers on Spotify. Links to that will be in the show notes as well. So you can stalk, once you finish stalking Elisa, you can come and stalk me in 10 Tons as well.
100%. Good stuff coming out of 10 Ton as well. So yeah. Brilliant.
Right. Okay. So we're out of here. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast, rate it, and tell all your friends. That's straight out of 10 Tons from Project Lando and Elisa. Peace.
Bye.